most precious resource you have, your time. First, meet Dan. Dan works really hard. He gets home late to his messy apartment, where he stumbles across his laundry and he kicks that bonobos box he's been meaning to return. He wakes up the next morning to a stack of dishes, and when he goes for his cereal, goes for the milk, starts to pour, and realizes he's out. Dan needs help. Dan needs Alfred. The butler you never had. For the very first time, the luxury of personal service is accessible to the rest of us. For $99 a month, Dan can get his very own Alfred, which visits once a week, every week on set days to do his household chores. Now, Alfred is actually a service layer that sits on top of other on-demand and local services. So Dan could have booked a Homejoy cleaning, he could have scheduled Washio to come and pick up the laundry, and he could have waited for Instacart to go and grab him some milk. But all of that takes time, coordination, and mental energy that Dan doesn't want to waste. So instead, Alfred anticipates that Dan would need to press that on-demand button and is acting to coordinate in the background across multiple verticals, gluing it all together with an in-home experience that actually solves Dan's whole problem. Let's show you how we've integrated these services in our app. So Dan can skip all of this and go straight to his Alfred app. Let's start. So Dan learns that Alfreds are background, credit, and reference checked, and that neighborhoods have their own dedicated Alfreds who visit once a week, every week, on set days. And when Dan goes to sign up, a scheduling and clustering algorithm works in the background to automatically assign him to an Alfred that has availability. His Alfred is Jenny. Chooses to meet Jenny instead. So now you have seamless payment across all of your apps in this one service. He puts in his address, and he's done. 6 days from now, Jenny will come and take care of all the services we listed. Let's go back to the presentation. So now that I've coordinated all of those, Dan has coordinated all those services in one place, he can forget about it and get out of his phone, because Alfred is working in the background. And this, we knew it was all coming. The natural successor to on-demand is when services know you and things are automatic. So Dan can come home, enjoy his cereal, and not have to worry about his chores. But Dan is not the only one. Working parents, busy professionals, road warriors, all of us can be like Dan too and get our very own Alfred. Alfreds are vetted members of the community. It's a cool job, they're well paid, it's predictable, and they enjoy serving their neighbors. Alfreds visit you and your neighbors on the same day each week. They group your chores together, which gives us economies of scale, and then we work with buildings directly, partnering with them to launch neighborhoods so that we are scalable. Now, yesterday, we launched publicly here on this stage, and the response has just been tremendous. We had over 1,600 signups in the first 3 hours after our presentation from across the world, Ohio to Paris. We were not surprised, though, because we have been working quietly in the background for the last 6 months, building Alfred in Boston. No press, no marketing, just word of mouth. And people love the service. Here's what some of them are saying. The market in Boston is over 200,000 households, and we are signing them up at a 12% rate week over week. When we went to figure out why, we measured our Net Promoter Score to be 80, which an average Alfred customer is referring 7 new Alfred customers. We have over 5,000 residential units on board, and we have hundreds of paying customers. But Boston is just the beginning. In the top 10 cities alone, there are 18 million households who are already spending $200 billion on these services today. And on-demand is going global, and wherever on-demand is, we bring automatic along with it, which means where these services are, we are. For the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new way of living, where there is dry cleaning in your closet, laundry in your drawers, groceries in your fridge. Alfred's brings the services you use together seamlessly, going past the last mile to the last meter. Sign up at alfredclub.com. Thank you.
All right. Great job. Judges. Who wants to jump in? Oh, wait, housekeeping note. Right. So Crunch Fund and SV Angels are investors in Alfred. So that'll clear that up.
Just like this.
So I'd like to ask a question about, first, very nicely done, question about the microeconomics.
Yeah.
So since you've been running it, I read earlier that you have about 5,000 customers in Boston that had signed up. So at the $99 price point, if someone is visiting 4 times a month and they've got travel time and everything else, it doesn't seem like a very high wage to be paying this person. Is 99 the right price point, one at 150? Have you experimented with different price points?
So we experimented with the price points. One thing that was very, very important for us was to try to make this accessible to as many people as possible, but still keep the quality high. And we're able to make the economics work because it's not a one-to-one. We're actually creating something like a mailman run, which allows us to do things in an efficient way.
And do you get paid then, so in the example you gave of the person then doing the cleaning services as well, do you get paid by those services? So do you get a cut as a referral fee?
A little bit of a trade secret, but we are working to find the very best partners, and they are giving us discounts where appropriate. But we are not charging service fees on the services to our customers. We want one clear price that's transparent, and you're getting retail or better on all of the services.
Yeah, but you can get some of those economics at least.
Right.
So as a consumer, I'm no worse off than if I did it myself, but at least you can get paid for some of that.
That's right.
Okay, makes sense.
Do I get the same Alfred every single week, or is it a different person every week?
Right. So it's not, you don't have just one Alfred. You will have 1 to 3 Alfreds. That's just in case they go on vacation or we lose an Alfred. But the idea is we really want to learn about you week after week. We're going inside your home. It's a trusted relationship. They learn about you. And from the Alfred's perspective, they really feel like they have a relationship with you, whether or not they ever see you.
Do they make sure that you're home when they come by, or can they, like if I have a dog that doesn't like a new Alfred, what's going to happen?
It's a good question. So we will ask about pets when we onboard you, but the magic is oftentimes you're not going to be home when Alfred comes, so you're coming home and going, wow.
So can you help me understand how it interacts with Homejoy then? Because it seems like Homejoy, I'm paying somebody to come to my house and clean my house, right?
Yeah.
But so Alfred, I'm paying Alfred to wait while the Homejoy person comes, or it seems like Homejoy could more easily, since they're providing a core service, could more easily do the things around it, as opposed to Alfred who's mediating.
So if you were going to book Homejoy, often you would have to be there to let them in. The idea with us is we are going to book Homejoy on the same day that we're scheduling all these other activities to create that efficiency. And more than that, we are auditing to make sure that every single service is at a certain level of quality. So for the $99, what you're really getting is premium access at these vendors. So when something goes wrong, you are first in line. An insurance policy across all of these services that you probably didn't have before, for example, at the dry cleaner. In-home delivery where things are being put away for you and you aren't having to do that yourself. And the idea that we are going to be the ones who are booking, scoping, managing, and taking care of it for you so that you don't even have to tell us to go do that.
Okay.
It's a leverage timeshare butter service.
Leverage
Oh,
timeshare
that.
brother service.
Of course.
So how does Alfred take advantage of getting smarter by all these trips to your house? Like, how does that create a better service for you over time?
So we think that although we're all unique, there are some things that we share in common, which are recurring chores. But the cadence of how you consume your milk, or how quickly you go through your paper towels, how often you need your apartment cleaned, how many dinner parties you're having a month, that's the type of information that really helps us serve you in a much better way and to truly anticipate what your services are going to be, down to putting that paper towel on the paper towel roll.
It does seem that one of the things that's going to generate a great experience or a not great experience with Alfred are the actual Alfreds. So can you talk a little bit about how you're hiring them, how you're selecting them? You know, I think it kind of goes to Roelof's question before about wage, but basically what motivates them and how that ecosystem, side of the ecosystem works.
Yes. So we take it very seriously. We view the heart of our platform being the Alfreds themselves. And we're looking for people who, in supply pools, who may not have ever done this type of work before, meaning they're not going to Lyft or Uber. A lot of them are stay-at-home parents or retired professionals. And the idea is that we are vetting them very thoroughly. Like, we have had thousands of runs in Boston already, and we haven't had anything come up. But we have done a very thorough job in our background reference, credit checking, and then there's a very long training. In terms of the funnel is very long. We we do online interviews, we do in-person interviews, and then we put them on runs with other Alfreds. And the Alfreds themselves are helping us select who other Alfreds would be. So there's like a lot of pride in being part of this community. And there's this intrinsic motivation about helping other people. And because you're going back into the same homes, you really do feel like you have a relationship with those customers.
And what are you doing for training?
So there's a couple of things. We have an online test. And then we will have an in-person experience where it's kind of a dummy apartment, and we'll just observe what they do naturally, and we'll give them feedback on that. Then they'll go on runs with other Alfreds. So there's a new customer will never, ever have a new Alfred. We never do that combination. And so that training then repeats every 3 weeks.
What's the most difficult thing in the business right now?
The most difficult thing?
For you guys, yeah.
I think the most difficult thing is to tell our consumers exactly all the services we do, because we're really trying to customize the experience to be around you. So we're going to market and saying, look, we're doing these set of chores, but what happens around week 4 is people really ask us, hey, Alfred, can you do this too? And so we have to make smart decisions about, yes, we can do a good job on this, and there's economies of scale here, and no, we can't here. And so that's quite hard, because we want to please our customers.
Which things, out of all these services here, which ones are Alfred's actually doing? Because obviously, you know, the house cleaning they're not. Are you relying on other people to deliver the groceries, or are they doing that themselves?
Yeah. So we like to say, do it or glue it, and we want to glue as many other service providers into the platform because they're doing what they're best at. Now, for example, Whole Foods does the grocery shopping for us and delivers it to an apartment, and we simply put it away. So that would be an ideal scenario. In places where we're first establishing a run, we might do more work, but it's really along a spectrum of us doing the work ourselves to actually seeing service partners do it for us.
What do you think the interaction was like during the week? So, like, it's hard for me to predict whether we'll need more milk or whatever during the week, and easier for my wife, but still hard for her too. But so how do you predict, how do you interact with the customer during the week so that you can make sure you bring the right things?
So we will ask you when you're first on board to give us a bunch of stuff like, can we have your receipts? Or when we come to visit the first time, we'll ask you, hey, can we take a picture of your fridge, your pantry, to get a sense of where you like to put stuff, but also the brands that you like and what's there. And so you will then upload kind of an initial starting grocery list. And then every week we will remind you, hey, is there anything else you would like Alfred to get you this week? So that's kind of the cadence of how we develop that list.
Okay. What's the most surprising request? Like, in other words, something you discovered from your current customer base that they wanted?
She's smiling back there. There's got to be something really bad. She's laughing back there.
Well, it's just, people are so amazing. They have such, like, unique asks, and it's really fun. I mean, some of them are just, like, can you sort through all of my coins, for example? And it's like, well, we could hire a TaskRabbit to do it, and then we do, right?
We have 3.5 minutes.
You have a microphone. What are you laughing
Yeah, let's
about?
keep going.
So we get a lot of different requests. Some of the most popular have been, will you take this pair of clothes or these shoes that I bought and just bring them back to the store for me? And we didn't expect that to be in the bundle, but we get a ton of that, so that's good product feedback for us. We have had, will you get my car inspected? Will you sort my quarters? Will you, take my bike to the bike shop? Sometimes we say yes, sometimes we don't.
We had somebody who worked at Uber ask us to clean her chimney.
Yeah.
So.
So I got a question. So if I'm a vendor, am I at all concerned that you're establishing the relationship with the customer and that you could eventually just eat my lunch?
Yep.
So we don't hide the brands of the services. We actually see ourselves as a customer acquisition platform for our partners, and we look at them as truly being long-term partnerships. We're not hiding the
Couldn't
brand.
you change your mind later? Like, so let's say you establish like a really broad base and you're doing really well, and you're like, well, we don't want them to get all this money that we could be doing ourselves, so you train the Alfreds to do the cleaning or the laundry or whatever that you're using the service providers for.
I think it's really important to focus, and the thing that we're focused on is for you to come home and say, wow. And so that doesn't mean I need to be doing the dry cleaning myself, or ourselves, I'm sorry.
How do you, I see you both listed as CEOs. How do you divide responsibility?
So actually, Jess is the COO.
I got promoted for this.
Okay, good.
Jess is excellent at finding wonderful people and motivating them, and she's in charge. She's head Alfred.
All right. Any more questions? All right. You guys did a great job. That was Alfred. Give it up.